Okay, Salam Alaikum is video 5. Okay, so now I know where I was. Okay, the consciousness, oh no, the martyr. Okay, so just like, so because you martyred my celestial twin, okay, a martyr, doesn't die, they live, though we know it not. And just like Osiris and, Isis, Isis was able to, to divinely engage with her husband, in the spirit, right? She was engaged with him in the spirit. Okay? So just because the physical body is not here does not mean that there's no engagement. Does not mean that. Okay? Because when two people are energetically connected, okay, just because their body is not present does not mean, that all is lost. No, the soul is still very much alive. Okay, so the celestial pillar is still here. It's still here. Okay, the celestial pillar, my binary twin, let's say, as represented by the sun, Apollo, which the sun's name is Michael, right? Okay, so anyway, and Michael also was, represented the archangel. He represented him. That's why in his song, they don't really care about us. He said that I came to fulfill this prophecy. So there are a lot of things, just because most of humanity is interacting, engaging their consciousness in a commercial reality, they are unable to see, reality, celestial reality, celestial. So they got humanity thinking that spirituality is intangible, it's only something of the mind, it's pie in the sky, and it's not. It's not pie in the sky. Spirituality is physical science. It's astronomy. It's medicine. It's it's consciousness. It's the sun, it's the moon, it's the stars. It's physical, it's tangible. It's tangible and intangible. That's why it's metaphysical. It's consciousness, understanding the hierarchy of the universe as it relates to the binary solar systems, the planets, how they function, why they function, the way they do, the message, the meaning, the interpretations, and to understand that, when you understand that, then you understand science. So to understand, spirituality or metaphysics, because that's what spirituality is, metaphysics, to comprehend metaphysics, you'll learn science. And that's why prophets, they were not, let's say, other than prophet, the one born of a virgin, he was born with the knowledge, The others had, the angel Jibril come and teach them, Even the pharaohs had, outer, ETs, teach them. And Jibril would be considered an ET. The angels would be considered ETs. Now, there are good ETs and there are not good ETs, right? So they had ETs teach them. They got their prophet's degree, let's say, from ETs, from angels. Angels are ETs. Extraterrestrial. Extraterrestrial just means they're outside. They're beyond the belt of the asteroid belt. Those planets beyond the asteroid belt are ET planets, extraterrestrial planets. And which, by the way, reminds me to say, we're getting ready to go through a metaphysical awakening. Not awakening, but experiences. When Jupiter goes into when Jupiter goes into Scorpio, okay, that's going to take humanity through a very, you know, supernatural experiences. Okay, why? Because then Jupiter is getting ready. That means Jupiter is getting closer to the asteroid belt, where he will cross over into the realm of ET, right? The extraterrestrial realm, the realm beyond the asteroid belt. So in that realm, okay, that will be the spiritual realm, or the realm of higher, greater consciousness, right? A spiritual consciousness, right? Scientific consciousness, right? What are they? That will be, yeah, that would be, yeah, scientific consciousness. I would put it that way, okay? Because I'm kind of going off topic a bit, but on topic. So, so he's getting closer to that extraterrestrial realm. So that means that it's going to, as he gets further and closer, you know, further out from the terrestrial realm, that will be our realm. That's the physical realm, right? The tangible realm. That's what I'll use, the word tangible and intangible. No, it's still not intangible. It just would be intangible to our consciousness, right? That means we wouldn't be aware of it, but it would still be physical, because ETs are also freaking physical. Okay, they're physical, but they can make themselves physical and non-physical, right? Because they got to operate in both dimensions, right? But we, in order for humans to be intangible and intangible, metaphysical, right? We're metaphysical in this dimension, but in the ET realm, okay, then it's just intangible, just spiritual, right? Just world, the world realm of energy, right? Okay, so Jupiter is getting closer to its constellational position, right? And I know constellational is not a word, but I'm just using it, okay? Because it sounds, you know, not phonetically, but grammatically correct. Yeah, for what I'm saying. Anyway, but so he's getting ready to cross over into the realm of ET. So the closer he gets to that realm, the more that, because Jupiter is the biggest planet in our solar system, right? In our father's solar system, right? Our father's solar system. And our mother's solar system is a whole different dimension. The mother's solar system is like, you know, is beyond even ETs, because ETs, the extraterrestrial dimension, is still part of the father's solar system, right? Because it's the father's solar system. See, and you can see why, mashallah, I'm that woman with the crown, right? The look what I'm talking. Okay, I know you never heard much of this. You never heard before, or you never heard it this way, or to you may have heard it, but not to a position where you logically are able to comprehend the universe and how it works without, in a manner by which it's interesting and brings you no fear, because you have to learn the truth, the THOHT, the truth, right? You have to learn the consciousness, the thought, right? Of Aries, right? Of Israel, right? Of the Hebrew consciousness, the Hebrew spirituality, the Hebrew truth, right? The Kemetic truth, right? The Pleiades truth, right? Okay, so now, as I said, now Jupiter's getting ready to cross over, but he's still going to be in the Father's realm, right? Okay, the Father's house, right? Because it's the Father's house. We live in the Father's house. Okay, and the pillar of the Father's house is at Aries, right? When we go to the Mother's house, when we go to our Mother's house, then we go to that's beyond. The Mother's house is the Mother's house would be starting at what was, right? What is now, let's say, the East, right? But what was the West, what started at Libra, that would be where the Mother's house, the direction of the Mother's house. The direction of the Father's house is east. The Western Mother's house would be west, right? Toward, and that is why the woman is going to rise in Libra, right? Because she's going to rise in her own house, right? She's going to rise in her own house, right? And her house is Libra, right? Which is going to be now the new East, right? Okay, so the whole universe is going to basically be like female, right? Um, but it's not going to be female because it's going to be sensitive males, right? Sensitive male. So anyway, so anyway, so we're still in the Father's house. All this solar system is the Father's house, right? Our Father's house. So, as Jupiter gets closer to cross over the astral belt into the, let's say, the ET realm, okay? The Father's house is metaphysical, let's say, okay? Very metaphysical. That means it's physical and spiritual. The Mother's house would be just, let's say, it's physical, but you have to see it with your mind. That's why they would say the women were like pie in the sky. When they talk with their emotions, right? It's not tangible. It's just, you just can't comprehend. You can't grasp it. You can't hold on to it like balls. Like the men, they grab a ball, grab it by the balls, right? Something they can hold on to, right? That was a male consciousness, direct energy, right? Right? Female energy was that magnetic, intangible energy, right? Sensitive, right? But it had to be that way, right? Because we were dealing with sensitive material. Angels, the children, right? The sensitive children, right? So anyway, neither is bad. Neither energy is bad. Male energy is not bad, and female energy is bad, not bad. Metaphysical energy is not bad. Metaphysical is just, let's say, it's just like, say, female energy and male energy, right? Whereas the female was just female energy, right? She didn't have the X. The male had the X and the Y chromosome. The woman has. See how I'm telling you how science, spirituality is science? So you can understand spirituality through understanding. Once you understand spirituality, you understand science. Science becomes simple, right? It becomes like a toy. Okay, so the metaphysical realm, the man had the X and the Y chromosome, the female and the male chromosome. The female, let's say the mother solar system only has the female chromosome, just like the Pleiades. They say what? They're a female constellation in Taurus, right? Right. Okay. So and the Pleiades is in it's not in the western. It's in at Aries, right? And which Uranus is going into Pleiades, right? Or which is, and that energy is going to come to Earth, right? That consciousness, right? The female consciousness will come to Earth, right? As we said, the sun will rise in the west, the woman, right? Okay, so and the west will be the east, right? Will be the like Aries, the pillar of Aries, right? The sun, okay, will be the new dominant pillar. Okay, so anyway, so the male, female is all let's say both X chromosomes, all female, right? So that was like all emotions, right? And a man he could relate, but because let's say he wasn't operating from the terrestrial, his total brain, right? Meaning right and left hemispheres, metaphysical. He wasn't functioning metaphysically, commercial world, right? He was just functioning physically, not metaphysically, not using his right brain, not the right brain representing the female, right? The female aspect of his being, right? So that part was repressed by the physical, the commercial world, right? So therefore, he's acting all harsh, right? Because he couldn't relate to, he wasn't supposed to relate to his sensitive side, right? He was supposed to, and therefore not relate to women at all, because what? The Vatican is celibate, right? They don't relate to women. They got to jump over the moon, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, so they got to jump over the moon is overlook the woman, right? Bypass the moon, right? Okay, bypass the woman, right? And that is to jump over her, repress her, like they do the Hebrew, right? Because she come with that consciousness, right? She come with that crazy consciousness, that Hebrew consciousness talking about God, and no, man is God. Jesus is man, and man is God, and we represent Jesus, yet we represent the church, and the church represents the woman. We speak for the woman, right? But we don't marry them. We just speak for them, and we control their bodies, right? Because the man is the head of the household, okay? And it's all commercial because he controls the wealth, right? Woman better do what he say, right? Okay. Or she won't be taken care of. Because she needs somebody to take care of, because she's not tangible. She's not in her right mind. She's too emotional, right? Okay, and it must be that cycle. Must be that cycle. That moon cycle, right? Okay. So anyway, so now when the planets line up, these two planets line up, man will be more balanced. No, we were right here. But nonetheless, as now man goes, Jupiter goes across the terrestrial plane, right? The metaphysical plane, right? Into the right brain, the female sphere of let's say, of male consciousness, right? Then he's going, okay, then humanity's going to be feeling a bit more emotional. They will feel out of balance, consciously out of balance, okay? And almost feel like they're kind of going insane. But they won't be. They won't be going insane. In fact, it's preparing them for what's to come. And that is the alignment of those two solar systems, the father and the mother, the right and left brain of the universe, the male and the feminine. I mean, the divine masculine energy and the divine feminine energy. And when they come together, right, they first create divine humanity, but they have whole consciousness, right? They have whole consciousness, okay? They will no longer be one leg, one divided, and divided, they're one leg. The man has one leg, the woman has one leg, because together they have to come together to be whole, right? Because man came out of woman, right? So as Jupiter gets closer and closer to the terrestrial aspect of the universe, or the solar system, the father's house, okay, then there's going to be a more balancing, and man and woman, okay, woman will probably become more humanity, because woman has been programmed too, right, in this male environment, right, this male consciousness, this male energy environment, right, all male, predominant all male, right? So it's going to be a bunch of deprogramming, a bunch of celestial deprogramming rather, and it's going to be a bit more emotional. And person's going to start thinking they're going kind of crazy, because now we're going to have the metaphysical, the physical, and the physical is going to become metaphysical, consciousness, rather than just physical. We're going to become more spiritual. And that's what the direction humanity is going in, and that's the direction it needs to go, and that's when it's about. And when Jupiter crosses over, then humanity will be even more spiritual. They'll be prepared for, the coming awakening, a greater awakening, conscious awakening, the truth of the as it relates to the universe, the structure of the universe, of a mother, solar system, divine mother, and divine father. And when they come together, okay, they they become whole individuals and able to receive the divine consciousness, okay. They become more balanced in their consciousness, and they become whole, and they become they have greater awareness. I hope I said that correctly. So anyway, okay, so and so you can see that's why it was to their advantage to corrupt history. And the more you ascend, okay, the less they have power to control you. The physical world has to control your reality, your perception of reality. No longer will you be cracked. No longer can they crack you up, let's say. No longer, because you will see the truth and you will know the truth for yourself. You will learn the truth. You will become whole enough to be able to figure all this out, mashallah, to study on your own. With the help of Allah, you can study on your own. And with Allah's help, you will be guided, to the truth of the structure of the universe, the reality, your own gifts of who you are. You will know who you are by knowing, what your celestial body represents, because I love it. Everybody's celestial body represents something, just like my celestial body represents the mother solar system. Okay, and the mother solar system is going to be, and the mother solar system is bigger than the father solar system. It's bigger. It's way bigger, just like the just like the chakra system. The chakra, I forget what how she spoke of it, but it's the receptor, of one of the chakras, of the lower chakras. Okay, the root chakra. Okay, is, let's say, predominate the male chakra. Then the second chakra after the root chakra is predominantly a female chakra, and it's larger than the root chakra. Okay, and that also represents, like, the mother solar system is greatly bigger than the father solar system. Okay, so when that solar system comes, it's going to have a dominant effect on the father solar system. Okay, it's going to have a very dominant effect on that, and then that will, you can see how that will affect the consciousness of humanity as it relates to, as I said, the energy coming from the solar systems coming together, the mother solar system and the father solar system coming together, and then the energy, the combined energy, okay, will affect the sun as it's affecting the sun, right, with the sunburst and all this kind of stuff, and the climate change and all this kind of stuff. So that's going to affect the Earth's grid, right? And it's already, as I said, affecting the Earth's grid because of now the intense heat, the intense summers, the intense winters. The weather has changed. The volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, and all these type of things, right? So that's going to affect consciousness too, right? Because we get our energy from the sun, our solar energy, okay? That's how our synapses do whatever it does, right? So it transmits energy, right, through our bodies, okay? And that will balance, you can see how that will balance humanity out, right? Okay, okay. I hope I didn't go in all these, I hope I made all these connections, because I be going to a lot of different places, because I still got this, and I'm still on basically the second page of all this, and I don't think I'll be able to finish these videos tonight, so I'll probably have to finish them some other time, go back into them. Okay, finish this subject because it's a very important subject. Okay, anyway, so, what was I at? About the alignment. I was with the alignment. But more than that, why I got there, I forgot. Okay, anyway, so the discrimination, no. Okay, so humanity will be too powerful, okay, too ascended in order to, and they will be balanced metaphysically, right? Because they have knowledge of both father solar system and mother solar system, right? So, and when they're combined, they'll be able to, you get your knowledge, and you'll be able to connect with, you'll have the consciousness where you know how to connect with Allah, and you'll discover who you are, your solar body, as I know who mine it represents, right? You'll know who you are, because everybody represents something, okay? Everybody's something. So, and somebody's special, okay? Something beautiful, and you have a certain power, and you have certain gifts that come along with you, who you and what you are, and it relates to the job you have to do. And you won't no longer be just physical, you will be metaphysical, right? Consciousness, you'll be whole consciousness. And that's what the prophet born of a virgin said, right? you will be whole. You have to be whole to be born again. When you're born again, you'll be whole, right? And that's what metaphysics is about. You'll be whole. You have consciousness of both, of this physically, but and spiritually, or how the hierarchy works, right? And you will once you become whole, you will be guided directly by Allah. Okay, you'll be directed. You will be directed by Him, and you become your own. He will teach you, and you will get your search. He teach you how to even search for your own, the knowledge you need to be the best you. Okay, that's where I was. Okay, so anyway, so right ascension will now be in the woman, right? It will now be, and that's divine will. That's not. Oh, and as I said, because the mother planet, the mother solar system is bigger than the father solar system, so therefore you can see how that will have great effect on the father solar system, right? On our father solar system, and how it will influence. It will influence the father solar system and influence the males, right? Okay, as the energy will descend upon the Earth's grid and descend upon humanity, and also on in Pleiades and into down to Earth, right? Descend upon Earth, because in the Taurus is an Earth sign, right? Taurus represents the Earth sign, okay? Not only Venus, and Venus as well, the female, right? Okay, so that will affect all the females greatly, right? It will affect the females. Not only will the mother come in, the mother aligning with the father planet affect the father and all men, but Venus, Uranus, which is a male, represents masculinity, also will go into Uranus. Into Pleiades, the bullseye, the Kemet, representing the black woman, right? The root. I'll say the root, representing the root. When I say root, you know I mean black, representing the root. Okay, so that energy is going to go to the root, and the women, representing the woman, right? And that's going to again affect, humanity, right? And enable them to sin. Because what do women do? We teach our children. We teach the children, and that's why in this very important time, all that feminine energy will affect the masculine, the physical perception of reality. Okay, and it will cause all humanity. And when I say humanity, I'm talking about those of the Abraham or the Hebrew, which is Abraham was as well part of the Hebrew spirituality or science, which is religion. Okay, part of that he comprehended that, and which the pyramids were our schools of science, schools of religion. Okay, religion is science. Okay, so like I said, humanity will be greatly more balanced, and they will ascend above, have greater consciousness. They will ascend above just that physical consciousness, and then people like the Drumpf, who are hell-bent on death and trying to deceive humanity, they will not be able to deceive humanity any longer, because humanity will not be into that type of thing of taking power from others and doing all the things that they did to repress and enslave and rape and extort and molest the children and rob and pillage and plunder. All that stuff they will no longer be able to do, because it's unacceptable in the universe. And Maathor and Father, okay, all the angels and all of creation will destroy them, inshallah. So humanity, you have nothing to fear but pray, because if you don't do what's right, the universe will strike at you too. Okay, it will strike at you too. Okay, so as we said, we're getting ready to go to video. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're getting ready to go to 6. Okay, yeah, this is a long one. And I don't think, we'll see. Okay, so all the discrimination, oh, we talked about that. All the discrimination they had to do in order to create their cracked up world. They're trying to create a cracked up world. And look at humanity. Look at humanity as it exists. How cracked up it is. The homelessness, the divorce rate, the bastardizing of humanity, all the famine, the poverty, the abuse of women. Look at this, the status of humanity and the desire to destroy the world through nuclear weaponry. I mean, that's insanity. To see the damage that it does and still proceed. All this crackpot stuff. The Trump is on crack and PCP. Shit, and PC piss. He's on PC piss. Okay. Anyway, so it's by design to crack up the world because they're cracked up. They're cracked up, drinking sucking the outcast spirits juice. Dead juice. Okay. So, anyway, and in Japan, and those, where was I at? Not enough what they did to Japan, to Hiroshima and Nagasaki. No, they want to do it again. Just do it again, Anyway, so what did they say? Okay, so they won't be able to ascend, and humanity will see through their stuff because they'll have dual consciousness, metaphysical consciousness. They will have dual consciousness, metaphysical consciousness, right and left brain consciousness. Okay, all those. Okay, so. Okay, now as the consciousness descends onto the earthly celestial plane or the grid, it will be and there will be more cultural or spiritual jealousy, and because of the divine consciousness descends, and that will be to the root. America will receive its consciousness first to the root. Okay, and Japan said Americans were poor because they had black people, but Japan doesn't know how Japan became Japan. Japan got its name because Japan, from Jehovah and Pan representing Isis, Pan representing the god Pan, the god of fertility, representing Ra, representing thought, representing divine consciousness, out of Kemet, out of Egypt. So there wouldn't be no Japan, Jehovah Pan, Osiris, if it wouldn't have been for the root, for Hebrew Israelites, for Kemetic people. So Japan needed to recognize truth as well as it descends out of the Hebrew, the consciousness of the Hebrew Israelite nation. So I'm going to say, inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are going to go to video 6, I believe. So on that note, I will say, yeah, Japan needs to drop its little support for white supremacy as well, okay? Because it was white supremacy that dropped the hydrogen bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki and prevented them from protecting themselves and gaining a new military all over again. So salam alaikum.